welcome. Hello, Rohel. Hello, Jake. Hello, Void. Hello, Chase. Welcome to more Higurashi. I feel like today there may be a baseball bat involved. We may have some big bonks going on, like at the start, but I'm not sure we'll get that far, actually. Who knows? That's just going off my anime knowledge. How are you doing, Witch of the Forbidden Realm? I'm doing great. Hello, Jobber Hob. Hello. Welcome to more Higurashi. Yes. This should be very interesting, seeing how I can do the voices. Obviously, I've done such a wonderful job so far that it'll be fine, but I believe I made this other low, didn't I? Yes, because I put the mod on and it was going a bit funny. So we'll need to load this, yes. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or warning or reminder. Nothing as simple as that. Oh, yes. I believe I stopped not long after Keiji found some sewing needles in a mochi given to him by Rena. And now he's a bit spooked because he thinks his friends are trying to kill him. Yes, what a silly baby. They could do it more easily than that. What happened in Hinamizuwa? Yes, quite a prickly point indeed. What is happening in Hinamizuwa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion and the others, they consider me the enemy. Oh no. And they thought I should just die? Oh no. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I had been drawn into a billowing, bottomless swamp. How ironic. That's how one of the women died. Good old kid pranks, yes. Just a little bit of near murder. It's all fine. It would have been seen as accidental, and everyone would have got off scot-free. Beautiful, wonderful. However, he should not die. I mean, he technically should only die in the next year or so, theoretically. Oh. Hard to swallow. I got an achievement called Hard to Swallow. Oh, lovely. What a wonderful sense of humor. A threat. What is going on? Maebara-san? Oshi. Those guys just now. They had national diet badges. Then it's Prefectural Assembly member Sonozaki and the City Councillor Sonozaki. Sonozaki? As in Mion's names? That's interesting. The Prefectural Assembly member and City Council are related. It's dirty, that's what it is. Shouting out each other's name during the elections. While one is up for election, the other holds an assembly, and they double up their campaign activities. Blatantly. I don't know much about this stuff, but it's against the rules of the... I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election? As long as they have no prior consultation. There are no restrictions on their political activities. Kuma-chan, the second investigator of the division, is going to be pretty tough for you. You should at least brush off on electoral law. What do I think about My Little Pony? Honestly, I don't know much about it. Obviously, from the outside, it looks awful. It looks like friendship and magic, and that just, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But for all I know, we could get in there, they could be murdering each other. It could be like Happy Tree Friends. I do love that show. I'm not cut out to handle intellectual crime. I'm dumb. At least you admit it, Kumagai. There was a prefectural assembly member, Sonozaki, and city councillor, Sonozaki. Also, the mayor of Hinamizawa. So they're all influenced by the Sonozaki family. Yes! I remember back in the day of YouTube, a long time ago, when you went into copyright school, when you had a copyright strike, there was a video explaining YouTube copyright that was done with Happy Tree Friends characters. It was very strange and somewhat surreal to watch. I was very confused. What crap. Looks like they were seen off by the deputy chief and department chief. It came to me. What did? That night, when the department chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it. You have a lot of connections. You might have heard something, have you? Nope, not a thing. Ma'am, I'll take a tofu fritter and fish cake. The councillor stormed in on the police chief in a rage. Oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl. The way I got introduced to Happy Tree Friends was my uncle showing it to me as a kid. Oh yes, some wonderful childhood trauma. That is very similar to the story of how my brother first watched South Park. You see, we were on a flight. I don't remember to where. I think it was to Florida, actually. And my grandma was sitting next to him. And she put on South Park for him, because she thought it was just a cartoon. Next thing you know, he was saying some rather inappropriate things for his age. Our snot-nosed Carib chief couldn't handle being yelled at by them. They're like the Yakuza. A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of the Hinamizawa incident handled it. Traumatizing, you found it hilarious, wonderful, as it should be. Goodness me, I'm not the faintest. No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hinamizawa, aren't you? Oh no, they're on to you, Oshi. I've already got my hands full with Tomitake's death. Really? I hope for your sake. There was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway on our food and drinks. Phew, that was quite the feast. This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet was feeling the pinch. Much appreciated. Oh, nah, it is nothing. Tell me a good horse again. I'll bet on the same one as you. Nya-ha-ha-ha-ha. I haven't been doing well there lately. I haven't been able to read the horses at all. Taxi! I'm going by train. The department chief is taking a taxi. I have my own car, but it'd be rush to drive home. I can't blow it right before retirement with a DUI. Even though he could still rattle off, it looked like his legs were already jelly. Pushing him into the cab, I gave the driver the department chief's address. Well, I'll see you again tomorrow. Best wishes. Oshi-san. Yes, yes. The past incidents have all been closed. So lumping them all together, those villagers half believe it's really a curse. Well, I'm not convinced. You're going to be retiring next year, aren't you? We're going to pay off your mortgage with your severance pay and move you up to Hokkaido with your mom. Mother pines to return to her birthplace. It's the least I can do. And the pension, well, I'll enjoy it myself in Susukino. Tell you a good horse, man. Which, Bryony, let me tell you about Shadow Man. That'd be your favorite kind of horse, let me tell you. Oh, a horsey with a shadowy name. That's almost as good as Nightmare. Ho, 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 ho. Yeah, ha, ha, ha. The chief said he may have to reconsider issuing your special retirement salary raise. A public servant's severance payment is calculated based on their monthly salary when they retire, so a special promotion of 2 pay grades is given before retirement. This tops up the employment's severance pay. That tends to be how it's done around here. Of course, it's not exactly a commendable custom. Incidentally, the difference in 2 pay grades makes to the payout quite significant. Oh, I'd expect no less of our egghead chief, quite the model veiled threat, but well, considering how our pay comes from public's hard-earned taxes, it's the way of the times, I suppose. It certainly wasn't a laughing matter, but I'll laugh through it anyway. I don't think it's such a model response. Given how hard you've worked, it's not odd for you to take home such a good package. Personally, I'd like you to get it. If I get it, well, of course I'd want it. You'll get it, as long as you're an adult about this. Sorry for holding you up, driver. Here, thank you very much. I closed the door roughly, interrupting the department chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looked like he still had something to say, but he smiled wryly and waved. I waved in return. The cab sped up gradually and soon disappeared among the sea of lights. Nya-ha-ha-ha-ha! Oh, man. I wonder if I'll be able to repay that loan. I don't think you will, old man. You're far too close to retirement to survive. Hey, Witch Brainy, do you think about the ability to create magic bubbles of chaos? And the ability to make whatever you write in the book and quill reality? I don't need to write it. I could just make it reality anyway. It seems like an unnecessary step. Just do the spell. Why bother with the writing? And I don't know about magical bubbles of chaos. We can make magical bubbles, most likely, but not of chaos. Chaos is not a tangible thing that can be put into a bubble. It can be put into a potion, though. What's a drug that makes you commit suicide? Oshi, let's cut to the chase. Is there a drug that causes someone to kill themselves? Not directly, no. Now that's quite a roundabout response. You mean that there's one that does it indirectly? It's possible to induce a suicidal mental state, is what I mean. That's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be? Like a person with a serious bipolar disorder. It's believed that people are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania. Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Yes, they are. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression. Whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by the passive depressed state accompanied by a very active manic state. Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic but rarely commit suicide. They don't have the willpower to commit suicide. Nihilism! Nor does mania on its own lead to suicide. That has the opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they were walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide. That is interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so. There is a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter mania, they gain a burst of willpower, and their body moves as they desire. I see. So it means they gain the willpower to commit suicide. That's how it goes. That's why patients are given sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on their impulses. Then was Tomitaki-san bipolar? People who suffer from bipolar disorder generally commit suicide by more civilized means, like, say, hanging or jumping off a building. Self-harm as through going through withdrawal is completely different. Tomitaki's death wasn't civilized, so one would think it was caused by a foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me of a drug that causes someone to commit suicide. There are reports that methamphetamine doses produce a condition that resembles bipolar disorder. It's a stimulant. Barbiturate overdoses are also reported to cause erratic behavior, and that's a sleep aid. There were no sign of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities? All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness. Something like Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid, and is known to cause symptoms resembling bipolar disorder. But Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms of its own. The deceased exhibited none of them. I wonder, is there something that could happen more spontaneously? Something that fits the case and would cause someone to want to commit suicide all of a sudden? Are you familiar with organic mental disorders? In short, it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to physical injury or illness. It can be caused by drugs, but it can also be caused by physical trauma, a stroke, or even tumors. Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state. The deceased was surrounded after being chased, and his life was in danger, right? All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry. He could have hit his head, and those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It is a possibility. Could you explain it to me in simpler terms? Basically, he knocked his noggin in the brawl, and that made him go haywire. Guess this means the assailants didn't have any intent to kill. They smacked him hoping to nick some change, and just happened to hit a bad place. The two plump men laughed hoarsely. But of course, it's not like that. Undoubtedly. Whether it was habitual drug use or something mental, the deceased's background holds the key. How's your investigation going? Oh my goodness, look at the time! I need to get back soon or Kuma-chan will get angry with me. Yes, good luck! Best wishes! Best wishes! Many reasons why someone might suddenly rip their throat out. Oh lord, humans are just so weak and so squishy that they just rip their throat out for no reason. Yes, continue. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was asserting as if I was inside. Of all the things I should have been doing, I continued my restless slumber. I was very much conscious. My body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door. It was as if I was completely paralyzed and unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please just leave. Wait, why isn't my body awake yet? If they come into my room right now, then... Ah! Eek! I sprung to my feet and threw the covers at my mother, who was opening the door. Whoa! Keiji! What is the matter? Sorry. I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m. The morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday I must have fallen asleep right after that. Then I should have gotten a full 10 hours rest. But I didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up, and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Well, Keiji, how are you feeling? Can you make it to school? I felt far from well. No, I wasn't mentally fit to go. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? You would have died, child! Or what if it had pierced my tongue? Then you might have drowned in your own blood! There was undoubtedly murderous intent, but I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, there were more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle. You'd at least make it a little bit smaller so it's harder to spot, and you would have swallowed it a bit easier. Meaning, I didn't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Rena and Mion. Aren't you glad I didn't die? But next time, you didn't die, but next time we'll use a more short method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yes, kind of. Something about my mother's dubious gaze bothered me. She seems more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill. Keiji, it's not about killing you, it's about sending a message. On the plus side, maybe killing you. And saving us time! Correct, Chase, correct. My version of witch bridey that I thought up. Oh ho ho, I can play with the fabric of reality like silly putty. How witch bridey actually is. Ah yes, I need to save my spell, like an anime character. I mean, of course you have to say your spell! How else does the universe know what to do? That's how magic works. You must give it instructions. Otherwise it does not know what to do. It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get up. They say wellness is a state of mind. I mean, that is definitely correct because his state of mind is terrible right now. I heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than anyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Rena-chan comes to get you. Mum's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one who got bean paste all over the living room wall, KG? You shouldn't do something like that. It's so stupid. Why would you do that? Your father was quite angry. I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mum didn't question me further about it. Really, she should have. Like, if your child has... Your teenage child who shouldn't be throwing shit at the wall... throws shit at the wall, then that is a cry for help, Mother. Why are you not concerned? She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. What Mion said as she left yesterday, I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow, came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't even really think about it. She was saying don't be absent. Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should go about living the rest of my life as if nothing happened. Oh, Keiji, you are such an overthinker. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. If I acted differently, something like Ooshi-san, for example, might end up noticing that something is up. It dwelled in the back of their head, yes it did. Meaning, if I didn't watch my mouth or did anything differently from the norm, in effect, it would end up communicating something to those who were undesirable. And it seems that was something the girls didn't intend to forgive. So, if I went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All the misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Clearly his mum is also in on the plot. Should have paid more attention to his father's job. Yes! If he was just an artist, I'm sure he would have interpreted this well. Yes, that is the answer to everything. And just forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep living on like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could. I swallowed hard, once again deliberating on the idea that I just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rules of theirs by chance. Was what I did really something unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying if I just forget everything and keep living on like I had been, I'd be forgiven. Keiji! Your food's going to get cold! Hurry up and get down here! Rena will be here if you don't hurry! Ah, I'm coming! I crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked at my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena. Given yesterday's event, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. The answer to everything is 42. The answer to Keiji's issues is becoming an artist like his father. Because obviously. I needed to be ready for school by then. I had to forget everything that happened the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to a normal life. For this to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally meet up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. Ding dong! I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. The chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Mom hurried me along. Come on, Rena-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry! My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting on the other side of the door. The Rena on the other side. Was it the Rena I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual. Morning! An invigorating greeting filtered across the doorway. I came since Keiji-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay? I wonder. And the manner in which Rena was concerned was without a doubt the Rena I knew. But that was probably only if I reappropriated. Forget everything from yesterday, pretend as though nothing happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths and what happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death, and the terminal illness, and the suicide, and the fatal beatings, and the disappearances. Forget it. Forget it all. Forget that Rena and Mion were scary. Of course. Forget it all. Forget about all of it. Forget about the mochi too. Forget. Rena once again asked to make sure. Can you make it to school? Yes, I am fine. Great! Then let's go! Mi-chan is waiting! Rena showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. Hello, Asta. Baguette. I won't forget your baguette. Ho, 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 ho. That rhymes. Wait, that also sounds a little bit lewd. I will forget that baguette. Ho, 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 ho. Which briny is the real briny? What do you want about? Which briny is the real briny? Yes, I have always been briny. I have always been witch briny. There is no such thing as witch briny and briny. I am briny. Yes. Totally and forever. I am Briny Rose Smith. Yes. 1 minute. Got things confused. But you see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she couldn't do it. As we were walking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff, more so than usual. Then? Satoko-chan is clumsy, so she failed no matter how many times she tried. Oh, it was so cute. Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense, so I replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. We passed by one of our neighbors, and they called out to us. Oh my, Keiji-san and Rena-chan, aren't you two a bit late? Mion-chan said she was going on ahead. Uh-oh. Did me and Chan look mad by one? Did me Chan look mad? I wonder. We need to hurry, Keiji-kun. After our greeting, our neighbor with a smile, Rena turned back to me and poked out her tongue. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile. Ah, Keiji-kun smiled. Huh? What? Rena stopped and stared at me. I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed down this morning, Keiji-kun. But now you seem fine. Fine! With a grin, she gently poked my cheeks. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiji Mayabara, how can you still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that? She is such a sweetie pie. I do love her so much. I think I would genuinely get scared if I saw a witch Bryony in Higurashi. Well, I don't believe I would fit in. I think I would get done by the curse almost straight away. Bryony almost cursed Chat with that chant. Blah. And then some French. Yes. Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything that I thought happened, because I was bedridden and delirious. I really hoped that was the case. If God would grant me just one wish, there's only one thing I'd wish for. Keiji needs to die if he falls for her tricks and fake smiles. What is fake about this beautiful girl? There is nothing wrong with this. Obviously cute girls and just smiling at you and being very cute is just how we do things, yes. It's worked on all of you, has it not? I would want what happened the past few days, more specifically from the night of Wataganashi up until last night. I wanted all of that to have never happened. I wonder how many times I wished for this the past few days. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, I think it might just become reality. So I wanted Rena to keep on smiling, because she's a cutie baby and deserves all of the happiness. Keep on smiling. So, Keiji-kun. Those mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all? Oh, poor Keiji, you thought you could escape. It's a happy anime character that is still alive, clearly a psychopath. Yes. That vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Honestly, if you Google Moon Girl, Moon Rise, I mean, the cover of the book is the best reference you are going to get. To be honest, I don't have full concept art for her. Of course, she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Rena was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that. Oh, Keiji, you overthink things. Keiji-kun? I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Ah, don't hesitate, Keiji Mayabara. Rena was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and my mouth had gotten dry. My lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiji. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly. Dick? Rena playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeaked something out. Rena's reaction was still normal. It seemed there wasn't as long of a pause as I thought. Somehow I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious? However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment I panicked that I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled in a joyful voice that she seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well. I see. So did you eat all of them? I wonder. My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the needle? Was that what she was asking? If I had swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. Nah, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it. Huh? What about the homework? To see if you could tell which one Rena made. That homework wasn't due today? Yeah, it's due today. Michan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you. Did you eat the needle, KG? You will? We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could let myself believe that then, even, I'd think it was just a usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of this giggling Rena. Lies! I recalled that unexpected, piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. It was only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Rena. No, that was wrong. That was still Rena. Oshitan told me, didn't he? Actually, I looked into her before. Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizuwa. She was suspended from school. Needles aren't much different from accidentally swallowing a fishbone. Yes, probably would have gotten away with the fishbone a lot better, too. It's much easier to swallow fishbones than it is needles. But sewing needles are a lot bigger than fishbones. You can still pass a fishbone and be okay. It's not suggested, but it is still possible, I believe. It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass through the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. Yes, Keiji overanalyzes everything. His brain goes a lot faster than the average human's, that is for sure. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows throughout her school. Just imagine going through your own school and breaking the windows with a bat. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after the other, paying no heed to falling shards. Your classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found most of the windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Walk, wind up, smash. Walk, wind up, smash. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Renner smiling at me right now. I don't know much about Umineko, I will not lie. But Higurashi will belong, that is most definite. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible, because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. The unpleasant piercing sound of shattered glass, the crunching noise of Renner's tread across the broken shards, walking towards me. Renner's classmates going pale as they forget even to breathe. I wondered what they did as Renner came closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her to try stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room to call for the teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight of Renner busting window after window, undoubtedly all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Costing the school money! It was just a big protest against capitalism, yes. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Renner to continue. It would be cruel to blame anyone for looking the other way. No, they weren't simply looking the other way. They knew it was the only way they could protect themselves. If they had done something differently from the rest, they might have suddenly found themselves Renner's new target. Oh, yes, the janitor most definitely had a very long day that day. What would Renner have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning I would, be the next window. Renner staring straight into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and cracking underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. And then Renner struck me with the bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. I crouched down on the floor, desperately protecting my head. Renner didn't care whether it was my head or my back. I believe they would. If they have insurance against student destruction, then I believe it would not matter how many windows would be broken. Although there may be an argument that there was not reasonable force to stop her, at the very least. Zealously, she hit me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent. It was completely unnerving. It's just because no matter how many times she struck me, it didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Renner wanted didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye. Useless. We're hanging out. But of course, everyone in class scrambled to obtain the highest standard of test scores. They'd gain nothing from saving a cram school, trying hard like me. Eventually there would be a faint sound similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oshi said. Jesus Christ, Keiji, you have such an active imagination. You just imagined your friend murdering you in cold blood with such high detail while you were awake. If this was a dream, by all means, but this is a daydream. You have some control over your mind, Keiji-kun, but it does not look like you do anymore. Something is very wrong with this boy. And the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena. It shows up. And quite a bit of it. At that. What does? She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Yes, this boy ain't right. That is faux show. Hey, class, want to play some baseball? Bat her up. Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. And then, as Rena was undergoing counselling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. Suppose it would make sense. Everyone would stand back if they had the sheer body mass to hold her down and drag down her limbs. Can't trust the person next to you would do the same. Indubitably. And especially a bunch of high school kids. As much as Keiji's like, oh, they wouldn't do anything. I know truly that a bunch of high school kids would freaking cheer. If they're a bunch of high school kids that'll watch someone get brutally pummeled and scream, fight, 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 then don't you know that if someone was going to break all the windows in school, they would cheer. Most definitely. It seems that Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow and looking down on her. That was the only piece of their conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture. But it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then what Rena did was saying that ghastly incident was the result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama. Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because some sort of conspiracy. My high school students would pile up to see if a fight was going to occur, which would block the hallway. Yes, exactly. Jocks maybe would fight back as a group, but only one in their group was to hit first. But for anyone else, yes, fight, yes! That happened a lot. There was always gatherings, and you'd run to see what has happened, and you join in the chants of fight, while two people in a ring tried to punch the shit out of each other. Yes! What fond memories! And then the school teacher would come ruin it all. Yes. Except if it was people berating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe that those who acted are the kindest to me. And for the kindest to me are deeply involved in these incidents. Why? How? For what reason? You have to go, Void Dweller. Oh, well, I do hope you enjoyed what you watched. Have a lovely day. Was Rena Was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. School introverts saw those fights as an absolute win, those brief moments of class being interrupted. Oh, well, in my school they didn't tend to happen in class. They tended to happen at, I want to say recess for the Americans. Recess, although we just called it break time. Had the same on oval, except then a quarter filled before the teachers would notice a huge amount of sudden kids and chanting, and someone could come running. Yes, that is exactly what would happen most of the time. She did that because she was possessed by someone strange, like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe that there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying Oyashiro-sama's curse was to blame. Which was the better choice? Accepting that Oyashiro-sama's curse exists, or that Rena and the rest of them were deeply involved in a string of mysterious deaths. I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same way as always. I wanted to believe that. But that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning of to my own conveniences, regardless of whether my opponents were human or a curse. I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in, for no good reason at all. I know, he's just completely gone from reality. Sounds like a normal school day in South Africa. Oh, sounds rough, buddy. Keiji-kun, you've been making really weird faces. Did you get stuck in your brain again? Oh dear, protagonist. Why, I wonder? Inhaling sharply upon Rena's voice, I came back to my senses. Wait a minute, was that the equivalent of a panic attack? Because I could... When you panic, your brain goes 1,000 miles a minute, and you do sort of kind of think of a lot of things that you shouldn't be thinking of, because your brain just goes, boo! So maybe Keiji just had a panic attack, because he was reminded of the mochi. Before I realized it, we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exercised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there was no way Rena could have done such terrible things. It was likely I was trying to placate myself. Yes, you are, sweetie, but that is how humans survive. As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped on my head the moment I stepped into class. Disassociative episodes can occur during a panic attack. Yes, I believe Keiji just had a panic attack, and that was what all that was. The chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony. Oh, ho, ho, ho! I don't have to change my voice too much for Satoko. Man, I still can't walk to school without seeing it seems like 4+ minutes. How befitting for the trod Keiji-san. Good morning to both of you, Keiji and Rena. Good morning, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan. Not quite in the mood for it, I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently. What is this? How discouraging indeed.
Keiji doesn't seem to be his usual self yet. Yeah. Take it easy on him for today, okay?
Suddenly, there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit.
Hey, Keiji-chan! Did you get enough rest?
It was Mion. My mind was full with stuff about Renner, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiji, that hawkish gaze from yesterday. Yeah, morning. What's with the unenergetic greeting? Did you eat the mochi I brought you? I'm like this because I ate them. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot were left over. What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one was Renner's?
Keiji-kun said he forgot his homework.
Sheesh. Then we can't help it. It's time for your penalty. Flashing a lurid smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchange that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to our conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way, regardless of what happened to Keiji Mayabara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. Hi, teacher. You have a model now because of the mod. Yes, and apparently the teacher is super cute. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. Must keep hydrated. This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered this ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what shouldn't I forget? How dangerous the situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Oshi multiple times, I could see I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No, calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Until they had a method of completely erasing me, they were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using this seat until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Darn. I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never. But were they really trying to kill me? I've had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. Even having witnessed all of their suspicious behavior, a morning like this just made it seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what they want. That's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends. Covering for them. My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points were something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. KG at this point just go breaking a few windows and get suspended. Better disowned for a year than dead. Yes, that is probably one of the best plans he could do right now. But really, Renna and the rest of them, were they actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unreasonable trains of thought. Oh, Keiji, you can't control his forebrain. Are you an idiot, Keiji Mayabara? Yes, you are. The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How could you screw up dropping a needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. Both Renna and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding? What kind of misunderstanding? Oh Lord, the fighting with himself. It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous. Right? Renna just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked about what I had for lunch. Knit me a sandwich. Keiji, you are a moron, and have been until now. About time you woke up to the axe in your head, yes. Renna was standing outside my door, eavesdropping for a solid hour. She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside of your room? Is that normal? To go home afterwards without saying anything? You heard from Aoshi-san, didn't you? About what Renna did to her former school. But at the hospital she said it was Aoshi-sama's fault. Cut it out, Keiji Mayabara. Don't you realize they're out to kill you? I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around to check if anyone else heard it. My little soliloquy got a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Renna and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. And do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends who I had been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday now intended to kill me? Right. You're too soft, Keiji. This time I remembered to keep my voice down, so only I could hear it. There was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Renner and the others and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Hoshi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me. I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made a resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I would have happily jumped into that circle. My, Keiji-san! How rude of you to even think about leaving! The way Satoko spoke was typical and familiar. It almost physically hurt.
Huh? Keiji-kun? Is today not a good day? I wonder? And we were gonna win big together, oh.
Seeing Rena's expression, which said she was really looking forward to the day, was hard to take. Hey, Keiji, maybe Oshi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from others by lying to me. Slap. Trying to expunge such weak-minded things, I slapped myself in the face.
Keiji-kun!
Yes, Rena was really trying to kill me. I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it actually was one or not. I just wanted someone to say it. Oh, yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive?
Are you alright? Does your head hurt?
Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Rena.
You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home. I wonder. Bonjour, Syrup. Welcome. Syrup poo-poo. I'm sorry, I forgot the extra P on there.
No, it's okay. Sorry. I can get home by myself. I just have the meeting without. Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily. Since Kei-chan is so bent on a revenge match, we were going to play that deduction game from before, too. You had a good sleep, Sir-a-poo-poo. Wonderful. Keiji-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch. How pathetic. I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Even without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head.
Keiji doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate.
It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Sorry. Everybody. See you! That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind, took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Forward. Harden that heart, Keiji Mayabara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. You're eating cookies, Sarah Poo-poo. Wonderful! Everyone loves cookies. And they were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them. Because weren't they my friends? Part of me lamented my naivete, while another part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. I would love a cookie, Sirapoo. It felt like my personality was being ripped in two along with my body. Would you say like bipolar disorder? If this was what Onishiro-sama's curse was like, then it was just too harsh. Hey, Onishiro-sama. I was wrong for not believing in your curse. But I believe in it now. Completely. Your curse does exist. So seriously. Give me a break! I beg you, come on! So I headed home. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavour or aroma. Oh no, he's got COVID. The miso soup was normally tantalizing, but my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiling water. It's not appetite, it's no, I don't care, whatever. It tasted like nothing. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept at his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant that he had reached a good point to take a break, or he was just in a slump. So yes, he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have. Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it's so hard to agree on things, why not just end it? I feel like it's an industry with a lot of back-scratching, but when it gets in the way of business... I wasn't able to pick out much of my mum and dad's conversation, but I could tell that it wasn't a very pleasant topic. Oh, thank you, Sirapoo. I will enjoy the cookie. Yum, yum, yum. Where are my glasses? Oh, I don't need them anymore. I have powers of a witch now. Yes. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought processes I had been going along all day. Friends close to me? No. They used to be friends, but I could no longer trust them, right? I was lacking in allies. People I trusted, people I could depend on. When push came to shove, they were something I just didn't have. Yes, it is the pure power of Halloween, indubitably. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring. The currently hopeless situation I was in. Outside your window! Oh, I'm sure it's some kind of murderous spirit. You should run very fast. I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that happened up until now, would they understand? Renner, for example. That neighborly Renner who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day and sometimes brought over a share of what she made. It's your pet spider! Oh, wonderful! How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mother would probably drag me off to a physician in the blink of an eye. Well, that's probably what you need, Keiji, so I think you should tell your mother. That's a very responsible motherly thing to do. Keiji, I swear you want to kill yourself at this rate. Oh, maybe. Sadly, That was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No, by informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in the past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Mayabara family to have an accident, or just to vanish into thin air, it was easily possible in Hinamizuwa. What was important here was knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least, it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. Hello, Hope! Welcome to the stream! As long as my parents didn't do anything, nothing would happen to them. Which means that this house would be safe, as long as my parents were in. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture. On top of conjecture, wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. You're an enchantress, Sir Poo-Poo! What kind of magic do you specialize in? I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents, no. I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. Then the only person who could be my ally would be Oshi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. Magic? You can't be that unspecific. What realm of magic? Is it summoning magic? Or maybe brain going blank magic like mine just did? Obviously I know much about magic, but my brain went blank. I blame this faulty body. I mean my body, this fleshy brain. I mean my brain, obviously. A dead man talking to a dead man, how fitting. Good magic? Well, that sounds terrible. Evil magic is so much better than good magic. Yes. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Oshi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now, to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning, it was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. And cheeky magic, oh well, cheeky magic! That is quite entertaining, quite mischievous. Cheeky magic. That is so cheeky. Then, when the fish started gathering around, she would pull up the big hole. It was slightly infuriating. Are you rather goofy magic? Oh, goofy magic is also quite entertaining. I prefer cheeky magic of the two, but goofy magic is very entertaining. It is a bit more family-friendly, too. Gross, need some chaotic magic in here. Where is the mutations, summoning, and corruption? Yes, the gross, the cheeky, brain has configurated a lot of these words now. Chaotic magic is the best. You use it to make your teacher dance? Oh, wonderful! What a wonderful use of cheeky magic there, Sir Poo-Poo. So then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. Wild magic. Oh yes, wild magic is wonderful. Random roll and you do not know what you get. But I do not like the unpredictability of wild magic. I prefer to know what I'm doing. That is for show. And make your brother do your homework. Now that doesn't sound like good or cheeky magic there, Siru-Poo-Boo. That sounds like evil magic. So you are also an evil enchantress. Somebody needs to make a new sleep reboot brain. Yes, exactly. Brain just kind of stalled for a hot second there, but that's fine. These mortal brains are somewhat faulty. I mean, my brain is somewhat faulty, yes. And there were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Oshi-san. Can you be my assistant? No, no. You are too inexperienced to be my assistant. Yes, this is Higurashi. A totally chill VN where everyone is not trying to murder everyone. Yes. No question. It was going to be hard. The timing to bring Oshi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not in Hinamizuwa. A VN is a visual novel. When the cicadas cry, yes. What is your witch name, Siru-Poo-Boo? So if I phoned him in my moment of need, it would take about 30 minutes for him to reach me. So I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for a dire situation or something, I'd just have to hide out there until Oshi-san arrived. Calypso! Oh, what a wonderful name! The historics behind that name for evil witches is wonderful! 10 out of 10 for that decision, yes! Witch-sama has been puffing up too much cauldron fumes. How dare you! I only puff up the same amount of cauldron fumes that is the normal, yes. And I also don't do anything stupid. It's just a wee bit of copium, that is all. That is all! Water, yes, water. Okay, I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. I definitely forgot what that VN could mean visual novel, thanks overseer. Yes, it sometimes does that. Brains are silly like this. Quite a few good stories are in VNs. They tend to be easy to digest over light novels, and they're like, yes, the visual aids are wonderful because you don't have to describe the locations and the people so much. Obviously you can anyway to add a bit of emphasis, but you don't need to go completely describing a character rather than a book. Hopscotch? That was easy. How would the Americans say that actually? Hopscotch. Would it be like that? Is that the Americans' way of saying the hopscotch? I could say that my brain tends to be a goober. Ah, yes, the goofiest of goobers. I was still being chased around by the dark boogeyman. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. It would probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. Typical. That would call for a switchblade. But that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, it also wasn't good. My brother is trying to use magic on me, but it's not working. Ha ha ha! Oh, Siru-Poo-Poo's brother. Someone needs to go back to magic class. Ha ha ha! So, Witch Boss, what happens after Halloween passes? Are you going back to your old outfit? What do you mean? I will always be here. What are you talking about? I will forever be witchy. I suppose I could try change the color to more of a Christmassy thing when the time comes. Maybe. Also, since it was really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remembered there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretended I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be strong enough to deter them. I just made him stinky, now he's stuck to the wall. Oh, the trials of siblings. That will teach him a lesson. Also, one more thing. Insurance. It could be something like a note or memo. I could write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. I remembered there's a metal bar in school. Did I say bar? I meant bat. Sometimes I may read the wrong word. This brain is very stupid. I mean, my brain is very stupid, but I'm not stupid. Obviously not. I am perfect. I'm the perfect Bryony. I see witchy prediction magic. That bat makes an appearance. Yes! It's a bat time! Where's my button? There's my button. Yes! In case I suddenly vanish, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oshi-san should be able to avenge my death. I'm 13 and he is 15, and I'm better at him than magic. Oh, well done! You are a prodigy, Sirupupu. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. I tore out a piece of paper from a notebook and made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. So I should write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiji Mayabara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I would be in the type of situation where I would write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Rena and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. And that's why I couldn't write down anything more. I laughed wryly at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police even be able to get a hint from reading such an passage? I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never needed to play its part. Here I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down just one more line, just as I thought of. The only thing I know is that it has to do with Onyashiro-sama's curse. Was that too much ignominy? Yes. I probably shouldn't write more than that. If I wrote any more, then it would seem like I was delusional. In order to appear to the reader that some person had written this was of sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at this point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. Hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance they would uncover it. On the other hand, if it was too obscure of a location, then there was a risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick the folded note on the back with scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back on its normal position. Yes, it didn't look like anything was behind it. Your mother is yelling at you to unstick him, or she will take away your spell book. Well, yes, the mothers have to be rules. Have to have rules. She is likely much better at magic than you are. So I would listen to your mother, most definitely. You've had your revenge. I'm sure he has learned his lesson. Now I need to set up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied and made my way downstairs. My parents were still talking about work. The dude should try to get, yes, ChatGPT. ChatGPT could find the culprit. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt, but I'll make his underwear sticky. Well, if you make some of the underwear sticky in his drawer, then your mother isn't gonna find out for a little while. So you'll just seem like the good person for doing what your mother said, and then you'll have revenge already put into place. I have something I want to talk to you about. I'd never started a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, KG? I have a favor to ask you. Please listen. Just in case, yeah? If it's not urgent, can we do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy have something urgent they need to talk about. I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my request. Just in case, okay? If I die... Both my parents' eyes went wide as saucers. Mum, Dad, I am gay. I also think I'm being haunted by some strange local god, but still. If I die, I want you to put the clock in the wall of my coffin. If they did that, then they'd probably find it. All you need to know is KG is having issues right now because he thinks his friends are responsible for a long string of deaths and he thinks he's next on the list. My memoir. And both parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. Do you have a witch pet? 'Cause I do. You have your spider. Oh, that's a wonderful witch pet. I do not have a witch pet. I do not want them taking any attention away from me. I couldn't blame them. I made that clock in shop class and I really like it, so please. What's the matter? KG, did something happen? Mum was finally able to ask me with a questioning gaze. Of course, this was a normal response when someone's son suddenly talked about a subject like this. I feel bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Last will and testament written by ChatGPT 4. Good night. Saying only that, I left the living room. Oh, those poor parents. They were so confused. I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day when I went to school with Renna. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mother call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I could not rely on anybody. Your spider's name is Luna. That's adorable. What a wonderful name. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. Weep, 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 weep. Cricket noises. When they cry. That feels like a chapter end, don't you think? Yes, new tips acquired. Not feeling so hot. Chasing shadows. Achievement. Let us view the new tip. And your black cat is named Eclipse. Oh, how very adorable that the names work together. Yes.
Keiji-kun's been feeling down lately. Maybe he's in a bad mood.
I wonder. Maybe he's on his period.
Me-chan, that's gross. What do you think?
Dunno. Could it be the K-chan? Maybe.
I don't know.
That day, K-chan was in that car talking to some tubby middle-aged guy, right?
Yeah. No mistake.
That Oshi. He probably fed him something fishy.
He looked serious. Keikun's face was so pale.
You see, you might not know this, but he's actually the messenger of Oyashiro-sama.
Huh? What do you mean?
Whenever he shows up, someone is demoned away. No lie.
Oh, is that so?
The year before last, when Rika's mom drowned, right before that, she was visited by Oshi-san.
Now that you mention it, he was around before Satoshi-kun transferred out too.
That is a very personal question there, Siru-poo-poo. Yes. It's personal.
Transferred? You're so sweet, Rena.
So this
time he's appeared before Keiji-kun? So Keiji-kun's gonna be demoned away too?
An empty silence hung in the air. And was suddenly interrupted by a loud laughter. Yes, we're not here to discuss things like that. I mean, I've already mentioned I have a boyfriend many a time. Admittedly, that doesn't make my sexuality entirely obvious, but, you know, it's just inappropriate is all. I suppose we can start the next chapter a little bit. We are coming close to the end of the stream, though. This was the first time I ever woke with such clarity. It was 5:59, just moments before my alarm would go off. I was amazed at the precise precision of my internal clock. I had made preparations for the next day of school before I went to bed. I changed quickly and descended to the deserted floor below. It appeared that my mother was still asleep. Neither breakfast nor lunch was ready. What happened to my words? You have to go to witch school? Oh, well, enjoy your time at witch school, learn all the magic, and pay attention to your teachers, okay? Have a nice day, Siru-poo-poo. Yesterday, I unilaterally declared that I would be leaving early tomorrow, so it couldn't be helped. I slathered jam on some bread and topped it with instant cocoa. Cocoa. Does he mean that he put, like, cocoa powder on jam? Is this a thing that Japan does? Google help me. I need to know that this is a thing. Japanese breakfast. Jam and cocoa. Is this a real thing? This is real. Authentic Japanese. No. Google will do better. Yes, Google. Matcha jam? No, that's not what I'm on about. Dorayaki? No, I can't find anything for this. This is very strange. Keiji, if the spirit doesn't kill you, I will for coffee toast. Just gonna have a bite of my 85% cocoa bacon and egg toasty. Yes, this is why I'm very confused. Japanese orange pancakes with chocolate sauce. No. This isn't a dorayaki recipe. Let's take away breakfast and just go jam and cocoa on toast. Maybe that'll help me find things. But at the moment, I'm not finding anything. It seems to be more of a... I'm coming up with French toast a lot. Recipe for cocoa French toast with cream cheese and jam. Yes, it seems to be a thing. A double chocolate toast, Meiji Vanwa cocoa. Huh. Interesting. When people say instant cocoa, I believe that instant cocoa would be hot chocolate. Like instant hot chocolate, which, because some people call their hot chocolates cocos. And I imagine that's what it is, hot cocoa, instant cocoa, you know. So I imagine it is potentially jam topped with hot chocolate powder. Maybe I should try that instead of that. Jam and hot chocolate powder. I must know if this is a thing. I don't know. It definitely sounds interesting. I'm not really finding anything on the internet. I know you guys in the chat don't know, but if anyone on the internet stumbles upon this stream and happens to know the answer, be it live or later, please leave a comment, because I am so curious about this. I would love to know. Maybe he meant he topped the breakfast off and topped it off with an instant... Yes, that is what he means, Asta. You are correct. I was completely misinterpreting the sentence. Oh no, I think it's because I'm used to hearing hot chocolate rather than instant cocoa. It is a bit confusing to hear instant cocoa. And you are right, he has lost all sense of taste, so maybe he did just do that. What a funny misunderstanding we just had. My, Keiji, you're up early. Is there some sort of school event? Not really. Answering bluntly, I picked up my bag and stood after shuffling 2 slices of bread down my throat. You're leaving already? What about lunch? If you don't wait a bit, I can make it. I waited for her to make my lunch, then it would end up being the same time as usual. If I did that, it would raise my chances of me running into Rena and Mion on the way. Yes, from today onwards, I was going to school alone. I'll be fine for today. Then what will you do for lunch? I'll slip out and buy some bread or something at the store. Really? Then here's some lunch money. Be sure to bring back the receipt. I took a 10,000 yen bill from Mother and slipped it into my pocket. I put instant coffee in a bowl of oats. Such things happen. Oh, That's interesting. And a bowl of oats, I believe that would be fairly nice, actually. Now I think about it, next time I have some oats, putting a little bit of hot chocolate on top would actually be quite lovely. I might actually try that, yes. It's pretty early. Is Rena-chan up this early as well? No, just me. Did you tell Rena-chan you're leaving early? I have no reason to tell her every little detail now, do I? Finding it difficult answering the onslaught of questions, I made an annoyed face. 'Twas disgusting marshmallows were okay, though. Ooh, yes. Marshmallows would be lovely. I made an annoyed face. Tell Renner I went ahead when she comes. Hey, Keiji, wait! It's not that I didn't trust my parents. I just couldn't rely on them. Well, that's a healthy relationship, yes. They couldn't help me. I could only hope they didn't get involved. It was safer this way. Sacrificing himself. My mother's annoying voice was cut off by the slam of the door. For the first time since I moved here, I headed down the road to the school alone. Boredom, free time, and empty-ish cupboards does open up the way for stranger foods. Yes, it does. That is true. Up until now, I had always walked down the same path at the same time each day. So I was always met with the same people at the same places. But today was different. I didn't meet people I would normally, and nobody was at the same places where I'd normally meet them. Of course, Renner wasn't in the spot where we usually met, and there wasn't anyone in the spot where we usually would have met up with me on. The length of the trees shadowing the morning air, and the brightness of the sun. It was a completely different type of morning from what I was used to. Without a doubt, it felt strange. It left me with the impression that I had destroyed the illusion of Hinamizawa had set up before me, before it had enough time to prepare all the props needed to deceive me. My, Keiji-kun, you're so early today. Is everyone meeting this early morning? The person who called out to me was someone who we always passed by as they were walking along the edge of the fields. And their name was, I forgot. Of course, this wasn't the spot where we usually passed each other. I woke up early today, so I thought it would be a good change of pace. That's all. I threw out a random excuse. What about Rena-chan and Mion-chan? Are you by yourself today? Well, yes. I was being asked the same type of questions by my mother, so I answered them in the same uninterested, vague manner. It wasn't funny being asked where Rena was each time I passed someone, but maybe it was to be expected. It was because for so long we were always together. Even I felt like my guard was down. We could still be friends. Stop it, Keiji. Don't think about that anymore. You spend all day thinking about how dangerous it was to go soft, didn't you? Beep beep. A car horn blared out of nowhere. Yes, we're about two minutes into 2 hours, so you are correct, and in fact, that is my usual time to stop, and I should do so. Thank you for reminding me, Asta. Let me do a quick save. Save and load, save and load. And that will be it for this stream. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Thank you, everyone in the chat. You have been wonderful. Thank you to everyone who lurked. You are also wonderful. And thank you to anyone who watches the VOD. You are also Wonderful. All of you, every single one of you, I will now shill my products. I have a Patreon where you get free short stories every month. I have a Discord where you can talk to somewhat me. I have a Kofi where you can just give me money for funsies. It's great. I also have books if you would like things in exchange for your money. I have books. I have written 3 or 4 books so far, and I'm hoping to get number 5 out relatively soon. Although paying for the cover is expensive. But I'll get there. We'll get there. I think I shilled most of these things that I talked about. All of these things that I've talked about are all in the description in some kind of magical link. These magical links will take you to magical places, and I highly suggest you go look at them. Yes! But for now, that is all from me. If you have not already, I would highly appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. Yes! You will not regret it. It is a wonderful button, that subscribe button. It just, you click it and it makes you feel good, and it makes me feel good, and it is all good. Yes! And that is it from me. I really do hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Briny Rose. Oh, wait. Actually, no, one more thing. I will be back on Sunday, and we will continue reading Frankenstein together. Yes? Don't have cash? Do you take kidneys? No, I do not take kidneys. They are not very good for my black magic, no. Apologies, no kidneys, but you can continue watching me for free anyway. That is all right. That is all fine. You do not have to give me money. It is more for the people who might have money to give. But for now, that is it. I will be back on Sunday. I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Briny Rose Smith, live from the Forbidden Library. Goodbye.